Have you ever looked around and felt like the world is getting dumber? You scroll through your feed and it's a parade of noise, endless opinions, outrage, and trends that vanish overnight. Yet, the loudest voices seem to rise to the top, while real wisdom, the kind that could actually change lives, gets buried under the chaos. And maybe you felt it too, that quiet frustration when thoughtful conversations are replaced by shallow arguments, when intelligence feels like a curse because no one seems to care. If you've ever wondered why being smart or thoughtful makes you feel like an outsider, you're not imagining it. Because the truth is, we live in a time where distraction is power. Simplicity sells. Ignorance isn't just tolerated, it's celebrated. And this isn't an accident. But here's the thing, that nagging feeling inside you, the one whispering that something is wrong with this picture, is your greatest advantage. You're not crazy for feeling out of place. You're awake. Stay with me, because what we're about to uncover will explain why this world seems upside down, and why that might be exactly how it was designed to be. Everywhere you turn, there's noise. It's not just the kind you hear, it's the kind that fills your mind. Scroll for 5 minutes and you'll see 100 opinions, 1,000 jokes, and 1,000,000 distractions. News headlines flash outrage. Social media feeds loop endless entertainment. Even conversations in real life feel rushed, shallow, and surface level. And somehow, this feels normal. But deep down, you can sense something's wrong. Why does it feel like no one is really thinking anymore? Why do the people with the loudest voices often seem to have the least to say? It's because the modern world has found a way to turn noise into currency. Attention is power, and algorithms are designed to feed you what's popular, not what's true. They reward outrage, drama, and shock value because those things keep you hooked. And wisdom? Wisdom doesn't thrive in a world addicted to speed. Real thinking takes time. It's uncomfortable. It forces you to pause and reflect. And in a society where everyone is competing for a few seconds of your attention, reflection is bad for business. This isn't just a technological problem. It's cultural. We've been taught to value being seen over being thoughtful, to share opinions before forming them, to chase validation instead of understanding. The idea of sitting in silence, of thinking deeply, feels almost rebellious. And maybe that's because it is. Philosophers have been warning us about this for centuries. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "Madness is rare in individuals, but in groups, parties, nations, and ages, it is the rule." What he meant was simple. Once society starts moving in a certain direction, people stop questioning it. They follow the crowd, not because it's wise, but because it's easy. And today, with billions of voices amplified online, that madness of the crowd has become louder than ever. The culture of noise isn't just a background hum, it's a weapon. It keeps you too busy, too distracted, and too exhausted to notice how much of yourself you've given away. You scroll through feeds, jump from one headline to another, but at the end of the day, you're left feeling empty. That emptiness isn't accidental. It's the byproduct of a world designed to keep you consuming instead of questioning. And maybe you felt that before, the frustration of trying to share something meaningful only to watch it drown in a sea of memes and gossip. The sense that your voice doesn't matter unless it's loud, controversial, or shocking. We don't live in an age of wisdom. We live in an age of noise, and the noisiest voices are often the ones with the least depth. But here's the twist. This didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen by accident. The glorification of stupidity, the celebration of shallow content, and the slow death of wisdom all point to something much deeper. Something that doesn't just explain why this is happening, but why it benefits the system we live in. If you've ever felt like you're drowning in this chaos, you're not alone. There's a reason this feels overwhelming. And if you stay with me, we'll uncover why intelligence feels like a burden in this world, and why that's exactly how the world wants it to feel. Wisdom was never meant to be popular. In every era, true thinkers stood apart from the crowd, often mocked, misunderstood, or ignored. Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, was executed for corrupting the youth simply because he asked too many questions. Nietzsche was labeled mad for challenging the foundations of morality. And even Carl Jung warned that society rewards conformity, not depth. But what we see today is something new. It's not just that wisdom is unpopular, it's actively being replaced. In a world built for speed and entertainment, depth feels like an inconvenience. Nobody has time to wrestle with uncomfortable truths when there's a new trend to scroll through, a new meme to share, a new outrage to feed on. And slowly, without even noticing, wisdom has been rebranded as arrogance, while ignorance is celebrated as relatable. This is how the death of wisdom begins, not with censorship or bans, but with indifference. When deep thought becomes boring, when truth is drowned out by noise, when intelligence is mocked instead of admired, wisdom dies in silence. And we don't even mourn it because we're too busy laughing at the next viral clip. You've probably felt this yourself, that strange sense of loneliness that comes from thinking differently. Maybe you've tried to have meaningful conversations, only to be met with blank stares or empty replies. Maybe you've stayed quiet because you didn't want to seem pretentious. That isolation you feel isn't a flaw. It's proof that wisdom is rare. And here's the hard truth. The system prefers it this way. When people stop thinking deeply, they stop questioning. When they stop questioning, they become easier to control. Shallow entertainment keeps us distracted. Outrage keeps us divided. And in a divided, distracted world, power becomes concentrated in the hands of a few. The modern glorification of stupidity isn't just cultural, it's profitable. Entire industries thrive on keeping you entertained but uninspired. And every time you feel exhausted from scrolling yet unable to stop, you're experiencing the result of a system designed to keep you numb. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay numb. The fact that you're here, listening, proves something powerful. You already sense that something is wrong. You wouldn't be watching this if you were satisfied with noise. You're searching for depth, for meaning, for something real. That search is rare. It's also revolutionary. So let me ask you, have you felt this shift in the world too? Have you noticed how wisdom feels like it's slipping away? How intelligence feels undervalued? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Not for me, but for the thousands of people scrolling right now, feeling the same thing but too afraid to speak. Your words could be the reminder they need that they're not alone. Because here's the truth. In a world drowning in distraction, thoughtfulness is rebellion. And those who dare to think deeply are already changing the world, whether they realize it or not. Have you ever wondered why stupidity isn't just tolerated, it's celebrated? Why being thoughtful or well-read feels almost embarrassing in today's culture? That's not an accident, it's a design. We live in an age where attention is the most valuable currency, and whoever controls your attention controls your choices. Algorithms don't care about truth, they care about engagement. Outrage, gossip, and drama spread faster than wisdom because chaos keeps you scrolling. And every second you spend scrolling makes someone else richer. The system doesn't need you to be thoughtful. It needs you to be predictable. It needs you to react, to click, to consume without stopping to think. That's why stupidity is rewarded. It's easy. It doesn't challenge you. It doesn't ask you to pause and reflect. It keeps you entertained, not empowered. And a society that is entertained but powerless is easy to control. This is how entire industries thrive. Social media, advertising, entertainment. They sell you the illusion of connection while quietly conditioning you to stop questioning. They want your attention, not your awakening. And if they can keep you distracted, they can keep you docile. But here's where it gets darker. Over time, this constant exposure to shallow content rewires your brain. Studies show that our attention spans are shrinking. Deep work, deep thinking, and deep conversations feel harder, not because you're lazy, but because your mind has been trained to crave the quick dopamine hits that come from scrolling. The more you consume, the harder it becomes to stop. This is why intelligence feels like a burden. If you're thoughtful, if you question things, you become a threat to this system. You stop buying into trends. You stop following the script. You start seeing the game for what it is. And that's dangerous to a world built on control. But let me tell you something. If you're still watching this video, you're not like most people. Most clicked away a long time ago because this feels heavy. It feels uncomfortable. And that's exactly why you need to stay with me. Because in a world designed to keep you distracted, choosing to stay focused is your first act of rebellion. Staying with me means you're already breaking the cycle. It means your mind is craving depth, and that craving is your power. If you've ever felt like you don't belong in this culture of noise, it's because you were never meant to. People like you, people willing to question, reflect, and resist the pull of constant distraction, are the ones who carry wisdom forward, even in a world that mocks it. The system profits when you give up thinking for yourself. But here's the secret. Wisdom has always been rare, it's always been quiet, and it has always been the weapon of those who refuse to be controlled. So stay with me, because what I'm about to share next isn't just about this system. It's about the quiet strength of thinkers like you, and how wisdom can survive even in a world built to kill it. The world wants you to believe that wisdom is outdated, that intelligence is boring, and that being thoughtful makes you irrelevant. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Wisdom has never been mainstream because real thinking has always been dangerous to systems built on control. Throughout history, the rare individuals who questioned the world around them, Socrates, Kierkegaard, Jung, Nietzsche, were often mocked, silenced, or exiled. Not because they were wrong, but because their wisdom disrupted the comfort of the masses. Today, that disruption is more important than ever. We live in a world where attention is currency, and the loudest voices win. But wisdom doesn't shout, it whispers. And those who can hear that whisper, those who are willing to sit in silence, to wrestle with uncomfortable truths, are becoming rarer by the day. That rarity is not a weakness, it's a superpower. Most people will spend their lives running from themselves, terrified of their own thoughts. That's why distraction sells so well. It offers an escape from the quiet moments where we might have to face our emptiness, our flaws, and our fears. But here's the paradox. It's in those quiet, painful moments that wisdom is born. Jung once wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens." Wisdom is awakening. It's not about having all the answers. It's about daring to ask questions no one else wants to face. It's about resisting the pull of the crowd and choosing depth over comfort, truth over popularity, meaning over distraction. And here's where your frustration becomes your gift. If you've ever felt out of place in this world, if shallow conversations exhaust you, if endless scrolling makes you feel empty, if you feel like no one around you really wants to think deeply, you're not broken, you're awake. And awakening always feels like loneliness at first, because the world is full of people asleep. But there's a shift happening. More and more people are starting to see through the noise. They're tired of the constant outrage cycles, tired of the empty validation, tired of living in a world that rewards stupidity while punishing thoughtfulness. And if you're watching this, you're part of that shift. The fact that you've made it this far proves that your mind is searching for something real. That search is the first step toward reclaiming your freedom. The system doesn't want thinkers, it wants consumers. But every time you choose to reflect instead of react, every time you question instead of conform, every time you value wisdom over popularity, you're taking back control of your mind. And once you reclaim your mind, no system, no trend, no manipulation can truly control you. Wisdom has always been a quiet rebellion. It doesn't need to trend. It doesn't need validation. Its power lies in its ability to cut through noise, to expose illusions, to help you see what's real. And the truth is, the world is starving for wisdom more than ever. People may not say it out loud, but deep down, they feel the emptiness. They crave depth, authenticity, and meaning. You can feel it too. That's why you're here. What if this loneliness you feel isn't a curse, but a sign that you're on the right path? What if your discomfort with this shallow culture is proof that your mind is still your own? And what if embracing that discomfort is the first step toward freedom? You don't have to shout to change the world. You don't have to fight every battle. The quiet strength of wisdom has always been underestimated. It doesn't need recognition, because its power isn't in being seen. It's in transforming the one who carries it. So, if you've ever felt like your mind doesn't fit in this world, know this: you're not alone. You're part of a small but growing group of people who refuse to be hypnotized by noise. You're proof that wisdom isn't dead. It's simply hiding, waiting for brave souls to seek it out. And if you're still here watching this, it means you're one of them. That's rare. That's powerful. Stay with me, because in this final section, we'll talk about how to protect that wisdom inside you, how to keep it alive in a world that wants to kill it, and why choosing wisdom over distraction is the most rebellious act of all. If wisdom is so powerful, why does it feel like the modern world is designed to suppress it? Why does it seem like society celebrates ignorance while treating intelligence like a burden? The answer is simple. Wisdom threatens the very foundation of a world built on control. Think about it. A wise person is difficult to manipulate. They see through marketing tricks. They question authority. They resist trends. Wisdom makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability is dangerous in a system that thrives on keeping you in line. From the moment you were born, you were handed a script: what to believe, what to value, what success should look like. The world taught you to measure your worth by likes, numbers, and status. It taught you to chase comfort, not truth. Why? Because comfort keeps you docile. Ignorance isn't just tolerated, it's profitable. The less you question, the more you consume. The more distracted you are, the easier you are to control. And that's why the system works so hard to make deep thinking feel unnecessary, even exhausting. Philosophers like Aldous Huxley warned about this decades ago. He said the future wouldn't need tyranny to control us. We'd willingly walk into our own prison, distracted by pleasure and entertainment, never realizing we were trapped. And here's the truth: that prison is here. It's not built with walls or chains. It's built with screens, algorithms, and the endless dopamine hits of modern life. You felt it, that itch to check your phone when you're bored, that compulsion to scroll just one more time, that empty feeling when you're done but somehow less satisfied than before. That emptiness isn't accidental. It's the cost of living in a system designed to consume your time, your focus, and your soul. But this goes deeper than just technology. Society has always been wary of those who think too much. From Galileo being condemned for challenging the church, to Nietzsche being dismissed as insane for questioning morality, history is full of examples of what happens when wisdom challenges power. Power doesn't fear stupidity, it thrives on it. Stupidity is safe, predictable, and easy to exploit. Wisdom, on the other hand, is dangerous because it asks people to wake up, to see through the illusions, and to reclaim their autonomy. And that's why, if you're watching this and feeling out of place in this shallow world, you're not broken, you're awake. Your discomfort is proof that your soul is still alive in a world that's trying to numb it. The truth is, awakening hurts at first. It makes you feel isolated, like you're walking through life on a different frequency. Friends might not understand you. Family might think you're overthinking. The world might call you cynical or negative. But what they don't realize is that your pain comes from seeing reality clearly. Carl Jung believed that awakening is a confrontation with your shadow, all the hidden parts of yourself you've been taught to ignore. Society tells you to hide your anger, your sadness, your fears, your questions. But Jung argued that real wisdom is born when you stop suppressing these parts of yourself and learn to integrate them. The shadow isn't your enemy, it's your guide. Facing it is the first step to becoming whole. And that's exactly why the world doesn't want you to look too closely, because self-awareness makes you powerful. Most people never take that step. They drown out their discomfort with distractions, with scrolling, with endless consumption. They convince themselves they're happy while feeling hollow inside, because facing the truth feels unbearable. But here's the thing. If you're still here, still watching, still listening, that means you're different. It means you're brave enough to sit with this discomfort instead of running from it. That bravery is rare. That bravery is the seed of wisdom. The world glorifies stupidity because stupidity doesn't ask questions. Stupidity doesn't look beneath the surface. It doesn't wonder if there's more to life than validation and consumption. Stupidity is safe. But wisdom? Wisdom asks you to dig deep. Wisdom makes you see the illusions. Wisdom teaches you to say no to what everyone else blindly accepts. And that makes you free in a way most people will never understand. But freedom isn't easy. Freedom comes with responsibility, with solitude, and with a kind of clarity that can feel heavy. And that's why most people choose ignorance. Ignorance feels light, comfortable, and safe. But comfort is a cage, safety is a chain. And the truth is, if you want wisdom, you have to be willing to carry that weight. Yet, here's the hope. That weight eventually makes you strong. The clarity that feels heavy at first becomes empowering. When you see through the illusions, you can finally choose what's real. You can build a life that isn't dictated by algorithms, by trends, by other people's expectations. You can reclaim your mind. And when you reclaim your mind, no system, no distraction, no manipulation can own you. If you've ever felt like you're different, like you see things others don't, like you're not satisfied with the life society tries to sell you, that's not a curse. That's a calling. That's your mind waking up. And if you stay with me, I'll show you why this journey is worth it. Because even in a world that glorifies stupidity, wisdom is still alive, and it's waiting for people like you to carry it forward. If you've made it this far, you're already different. Most people click away the moment something feels heavy, but you stayed. And that's proof that wisdom isn't dead. It's alive in you. In a world that rewards noise and glorifies ignorance, your choice to slow down, to question, to think deeply is a quiet act of rebellion. The truth is, wisdom was never meant to be popular. It has always been rare, hidden in the hearts of those brave enough to carry it. And maybe that's why you've always felt out of place, because you were never meant to fit into a shallow world. You were meant to see through it. So share your thoughts below, not for me, but for someone scrolling through the comments right now, feeling lost and misunderstood. Your words could be the reminder they need. And if you want to keep walking this path of depth and truth, subscribe and join this growing circle of thinkers. The world may glorify stupidity, but it cannot kill wisdom, because wisdom doesn't live in trends or headlines. It lives in people like you, the ones who refuse to stop seeking truth.